I don't know about you, man. Today, we're recording this Wednesday, November 12th. This is the first time I have felt optimism from the 49ers about Brock Purdy actually playing in a football game on Sunday.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan just told reporters that the plan is to ramp Brock up with the goal of playing on Sunday. And I think the 49ers have been as cautious as they can be, or at least they've tried to be cautious when it comes to Brock. I think if you asked Kyle Shanahan to a man, he would say they brought Brock back too early in the Jacksonville game when he aggravated the turf toe injury, didn't play all that well, didn't seem all that comfortable. And they've made it pretty clear, and Kyle Shanahan reiterated it today, that they were not going to play Brock Purdy if they had legitimate fear of re-injuring his turf toe. That's not to say he couldn't re-injure it on Sunday, because maybe he could. It sounds like Shanahan's kind of talking out both sides of his mouth, to be honest, because he said there's a chance that Brock might not be healthy throughout the rest of the season, while also saying if we thought there was a real chance that Brock would re-injure himself, and then we wouldn't put him out there. So I'm not really sure where in the gray area Brock Purdy is, but the way Kyle Shanahan said that they are ramping him up with the hope of him playing on Sunday is as strong an indication, to your point, that we've had since the Jacksonville game that Brock Purdy could be back on the field Sunday.
Yeah, man. And the fact that he said, so Shanahan on Monday said that he wanted 3 aggressive practices from Brock, but then said he was going to be limited today. And I think it was Matt Barrows said, can you have an aggressive practice and still be limited? And Shanahan was like, yeah, this is going to be an aggressive practice. We just have to put limited because it's not exactly how it normally is. And I'm sure teams are extra judicious now about the full versus limited participation after the whole Lamar Jackson debacle. But he said, the other thing was, he said, I think each week it's gotten better, with last week being the best. Each week has been different. So if he takes a big step forward this week like he did last week, he should have a good chance to play. That's the first time he's said good chance to play about Brock Purdy since week 4. And it just really feels like they're planning on playing him, and they're just not saying yes in the event that he aggravates it again in practice.
Yeah.
Like I'd be surprised if Brock Purdy doesn't play on Sunday.
Yeah, I think at this point I would too, but on the other hand, I also wouldn't be surprised if he had a setback during practice, because the 49ers love having setbacks with their injured guys during practice during the week. So I would be cautiously optimistic about Brock Purdy returning to game action on Sunday in Arizona. And I think they need him, honestly. Like, I know the issues that the 49ers had, particularly on Sunday, and the issues they've had since Fred Warner and Nick Bosa got hurt. Their issues have been defense. Like, the defense has been by far a bigger issue than offense. But I think Brock Purdy's return could give the team a shot in the arm that it needs. And that's not to take anything away from Mac Jones. But I think at this point, coming off that loss, the team needs something good to happen just from a morale vibe standpoint, because it feels like with all the injuries, almost losing somebody for the season weekly, like, to get an infusion of, a key player, a captain back into the lineup, I think would be really important for them. We can talk about the quarterback controversy element to all this if you want to, because I have thoughts on that. But I think broadly, like you and I have both said over and over, the offense needs to be an elite offense with how bad this defense is right now for them to make a playoff run and potentially be a threat in the playoffs. I just think they're more likely to do that with Brock Purdy than Mac Jones. I don't think that's super likely at this point, but I think certainly the ceiling is higher with Brock Purdy playing quarterback than with Mac Jones at quarterback.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think Shanahan was asked if it's a hard decision to make to put Purdy back into the starting lineup, and he said, no, it's not a hard decision. It's just more about Brock's health. It's been awesome how Mac has played. He's been great, but we've got a lot of confidence in Brock, and we know Brock will play at a high level too as long as he's healthy. Like, that's it, man.
Yeah.
They didn't. If it was that easy to unseat Brock Purdy, they wouldn't have paid him. I mean, that's just kind of the bottom line. And I think what's happening is people are preemptively getting out in front of the quarterback conversation, because Brock he wasn't great in week 1, but he's fine. And then he came back in week 4 and they turned the ball over a bunch and he just didn't look right. And I think that's what people remember of Brock, and they say, well, Mac Jones is he still leading the league in passing yards per game?
Not sure.
He
But he's
was.
been up there.
He was. He's at 2,100 yards in 8 games. He's at 268.9 passing yards per game. Mac Jones is. Brock at 263, by the way. But I think people are kind of forgetting that Brock Purdy's pretty good at this. And in the event that he comes back and he's a little banged up and, they lose to Arizona and Brock started, that's, I think, where the conversation comes in. If you're like, man, Brock didn't look healthy, do you pull him and put Mac Jones in? Like, that's the conversation. But Brock Purdy losing his job to Mac freaking Jones was never a thing that was going to happen.
No, it would have taken Mac Jones going to a Super Bowl or winning a Super Bowl, essentially, to unseat Brock Purdy this year. Like, I think Brock's been good. I think people have been conditioned to always look for the next quarterback, particularly when things aren't awesome, right? Like when the 49ers aren't, 14-3 and looking like a juggernaut in the NFC, and they're not winning every single game in dominant fashion like some people are accustomed to them doing.
Mm-hmm.
The human nature is to always look for the next answer at quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was, Jimmy Garoppolo is not good enough. All right, what's next? Trey Lance isn't good enough. What's next? And now it's turning into, that they're winning games without Brock. So because the 49ers shuffle through quarterbacks the way that they have, what's next? And it looks like it could be Mac. I think people are just conditioned to sort of think that way. When in reality, like, is Mac Jones playing at a higher level than Brock has at his peak? I don't think so at all. I think Brock in 2022 as a rookie is playing better than Mac Jones is right now. I think Brock in 2023, when he was an MVP candidate, certainly was playing at a higher level then than Mac Jones is right now. I think if you want to compare last year to, the way Brock Purdy played to this year, I think you can make a pretty reasonable argument, but I think that offense was in really rough shape last year, and there was no Christian McCaffrey, with the exception of 2 games. And Brock Purdy only played in, was it one of them? Or did Brock Purdy play with Christian McCaffrey at all last year? Don't even remember. Was it the Buffalo game? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was one game, right? So I will always come back to the ceiling being higher with Brock Purdy than with Mac Jones because of the mobility, because of the ability to push the ball downfield. I still think Brock Purdy's ability to push the ball downfield is wildly underrated. I think that was true as a rookie. I think it was true in 2023 when they went to the Super Bowl. Because the 49ers had this reputation as like, the Yak Bros, and they're so good at getting yards after the catch. People overlooked just how good and efficient Brock Purdy was with the deep ball. The 49ers don't have a deep downfield passing game right now with Mac Jones. They just don't. Like, Mac's been fine, but they just don't have a downfield passing attack. And the 49ers really leaned into it with Brock last year, probably to a fault. It felt like Brock was trying to do too much and trying to make too many explosive plays. But I think he's far more capable at that aspect of playing quarterback than Mac Jones has proven to be.
Interesting.
And so, and so for those reasons, I just think like the quarterback discussion for me on the outside is just a little bit silly because Mac Jones is playing at the Jimmy Garoppolo type level that the 49ers eventually wanted to move on from because Garoppolo wasn't dynamic enough. And I think internally, the conversation is more about Brock's health. It's not, is Mac Jones better than Brock Purdy? It's, is Mac Jones better than a hampered Brock Purdy who could potentially re-injure his toe and then extend the injury out into the season and into the offseason. That's what the conversation actually is. It's not who's the better quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think it says a lot that of Mac Jones' 6 interceptions, like all of them have been directly to defenders, because I think what he's doing is he's just fully trusting the offense.
Yeah.
And it is true. This was a criticism of Brock Purdy. It's point and shoot. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to. It's just, you basically know when you line up based on the defense, based on the play call. All right, I'm throwing to George Kittle on this play. Is, I think, kind of the perception of what Brock Purdy does. I think that is what Mac's doing. And there's some secondary playmaking. There was especially on Sunday against the Rams. There was the 19-yarder to Kendrick Bourne. There was the touchdown to Luke Farrell, where Farrell wasn't even supposed to be out in a route, and Jones still kind of found him over there in open space. So there's been a little bit of that, but I don't think the gets to the top of his drop, looks, oh, the first throw's not there, second read's not there. Okay, going to buy time and scramble. That's not what Mac does. And it may not matter right now. They're 5-3 with him as a starter. But again, this team is not trying to go 5-3. And when you look, I mean, if we're going to really keep it a stack, and this is just kind of picking nits, are the Saints good?
No.
The Niners beat them by 5. Are the Cardinals good?
No.
Niners beat them by 1 on a last-second field goal, where the Cardinals, Upton Stout came up with a sick defensive play in that game to even give the 49ers the ball back. The Rams, good win. Solid win on the road. Needed some weird shit to happen, but that happens sometimes. Here's Mac Jones since then. Lost to Tampa Bay, good team. Beat Atlanta, not a good team. Lost to Houston, not a good team. Beat the Giants, not a good team. Lost to the Rams, good team.
Yeah, I think Brock, I think the dynamism that Brock brings makes it so that the 49ers offense would have performed better in Tampa, in Houston,
I agree.
at home against the Rams, right?
Although I didn't think the offense is necessarily the problem on Sunday, but you see where it's like, man, in that game against Houston, there were a couple of moments where having a quarterback with some escapability would have really helped. That game against Tampa, same deal.
Even on 4th and 1, right? Like you feel more comfortable calling a passing play, being like, all right, if this goes poorly, there's a chance that Brock could scramble and convert a 4th and 1, where you're not going to call a passing play with Mac Jones, because if it goes poorly, he's a sitting duck back there because he can't move.
Damn.
Right.
Tough.
No, but and it's not
right. It's not a it's just it's what it is.
It was the same for Jimmy Garoppolo at a certain point in his career, and it's the same for Mac Jones, and it was a big reason why Mac Jones would have been insane to trade up and invest 3 first-round picks and going to get Mac Jones. He can be a good quarterback. He's just not a dynamic quarterback. And when you're investing that many picks into the selection, like, you would hope to get a dynamic quarterback. And I'm not. Look, Trey Lance is not, like, Mac Jones has proven to have a better career than Trey Lance. That's not what this is. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I think ultimately with what Brock Purdy has shown over the course of multiple seasons and multiple deep playoff runs, that the high end of Brock Purdy is much higher than the high end of Mac Jones. And even week 1, like, we went into that game, it was like, yeah, it was ugly, but can Brock Purdy win when the chips are down? And can he come back in the 4th quarter? And he did that. And yeah, did he throw a couple picks? Sure. But Seattle's defense is really good, and they ended up beating that team on the road. And Seattle looks like one of the best 2 or 3 teams in the NFC right now. And Brock Purdy, but that throw to Pearsall late in the 4th quarter on the game-winning drive deep down the left, like, we haven't seen Mac Jones make that throw.
So I want to put a pin in that specifically, because Ricky Pearsall is the name you said there, and he has also been out since week 4.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's where I will say they don't have, like, Juwan Jennings is not a field stretcher. Kendrick Bourne is not a field stretcher. They just don't have that guy. For some reason, they're keeping Jordan Watkins on ice, probably saving him for the playoffs.
Well, despite, I mean, yeah, it's probably throwing defensive coordinators for a loop. spending all week preparing for Jordan Watkins, and then on Sunday it's like, where is this guy?
Sitting over there quaking in their boots because 1-7 might take the field. But yeah, so I
That's a fair point.
I think maybe the downfield stuff is a Mac Jones thing, but I think it's more of a personnel thing. The secondary playmaking is what matters the most. And you said it. You brought up Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, that was always the gripe. It's like, man, when the first throw is there, the first read is there, the second read is there, it's great. But that play breaks down and
right.
And I think that's a little bit what we've seen with Mac Jones, who's been great. I just think we're kind of at the ceiling. And I don't know if that's what the 49ers are necessarily looking for.
You know who's not at their ceiling and still climbing towards getting?
I hope you tell me.
Is the ceiling the roof for Lamb Chops? How would you describe what the ceiling is?
The ceiling is the roof, some are saying.
I just think it's a constant ascension towards whatever ceiling. It might be a limitless ceiling. But in order to experience this limitless
the universe
ceiling,
is ever expanding, Chris. So
go to sglambchops.com.
Infinity.
Go to sorry, I can't speak.
My bad. That's my fault.
sglambchops.com is the website. Lamb Chops is the clothing brand, the official clothing brand of this very podcast. I'm wearing a Lamb Chops hat and a one of my favorite Lamb Chops hoodies, as you guys can see if you're watching on our YouTube channel. The fall line is here. I don't have to continue talking about how much I love this black knit sweater. It's just really incredible. The t-shirt also incredible. And we have Candlestick Chronicles merch. Throw Candlestick into the search bar at sglambchops.com and you will find t-shirts and hoodies. We have the Candlestick Chronicles word mark on the back with the Lamb Chops logo. We have the subtle small CC logo on the front and center. It is just phenomenal gear and very, very reasonably priced. You can use promo code Candlestick20 to save 20% off your order, and you can even get free shipping on orders over $100. So holidays are here. Get your loved ones, your family and friends, some gear from their favorite 49ers podcast. It's all right there. They will ship it to you. It's great stuff. Shout out to Lamb Chops. sglambchops.com is the website. Lamb Chops, join the herd. It's Wednesday, Kyle, which means the Thursday night Prize Pick lineup is in. But first,
let's go.
Have to let you guys know, of course, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old, so keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. All right, so we are rocking with Stephon Diggs. I'm going demon play, more than half of a rushing or receiving touchdown against the Jets. Drake May, MVP candidate Drake May. I'm going more than 240.5 passing yards. The Jets have traded away Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. I think that defense could be had, particularly traveling on a Thursday. So we're going Drake May more than his passing number. Justin Fields, I'm going less than 135.5 passing yards. That seems crazy, but then you look at his game log, and he has a lot of just really ridiculous game logs from a passing yardage perspective.
I'm looking right now, and oh my God.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, that's easy money. I'm taking the more than. And then I looked at his game logs, and I was like, nope, we are going less than 135.5. Justin Fields, not a prodigious passer from a yardage perspective.
218, 27, 226, 283, 45, 46, 244, 54. His biggest outputs of the year have been against Cincinnati, Dallas, and Miami. Oh, and Pittsburgh, which I believe are the 4 worst pass defenses in the sport.
Yeah, and the Patriots defense is top 10, probably top 10 in all the major categories. So yeah, I'm taking the less than 135.5 on him. Breece Hall, I'm going more than 58.5 rushing yards. I just think the Jets' only hope is to run the ball effectively. And I think with Justin Fields' inability to pass consistently, I think Breece Hall is just going to get a lot of touches. Had a really nice game last week. Breece Hall did. So those are the 4 picks. If we hit all 4, we get a nice 9x multiplier. So make sure you download the Prize Picks app on your smartphone today and use code Candlestick to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code Candlestick to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
Yeah, it sure is, man. That was 4 of the 10 worst pass defenses in the league from a yards per attempt allowed perspective. I feel so good about your Justin Fields pick.
Thank you so much. Do you remember how sick his pro day was?
I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it because people were already buying Justin Fields 49ers jerseys.
It was, I believe it was, spring 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Pandemic was still going on. Spending a lot of time sitting on Twitter. And all the Niners had traded up. They traded all the picks to move up to number 3. It was going to be Trey Lance, Mac Jones, or Justin Fields. There was a strong contingent of Justin Fields supporters for the 49ers on Twitter. And man, when he had his pro day and Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch were there in person, watching him roll to his left and huck the ball 50 yards downfield, people lost their shit.
As if we've never seen a quarterback roll left and throw it far in a pro day before.
And like, just the fact that, yes, he was an elite college prospect. Like, he could have done that a few years earlier in high school, like the pro day thing. Like, it's not, it was a nice lesson, I think, that I think everybody needed when it comes to how just sort of ridiculous draft discussion can be. Because there were so many people who watched that pro day and were like, seen enough. I have seen enough. Justin Fields is the guy that they moved up for. And then it's like, well, like, what about when there's a defense on the field that he has to react to? Can we? It's kind of an important part of the game. I like Justin Fields.
That's a good player.
Shout out to my alma mater. But yeah, the draft stuff was crazy.
Yeah. And it turns out he's just not a super effective NFL quarterback.
Nope. Yeah, so
back.
Yeah, I mean, look, getting Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall back could dramatically change the dynamic for this team. I just have a really hard time right now feeling like, all right, this team is going to like go on this run. I know what the schedule is, but I've just, you would have thought the 40, like going into the Jaguars game, you would have thought, all right, if the 49ers don't turn the ball over, we said it. If the 49ers don't turn the ball over against that Jags defense, which had been hawking turnovers early in the season, like, they should roll these dudes. And then, of course, they don't, in large part because Brock Purdy didn't play well, which his toe aggravation had some impacted that at some level. So I can't, even if on Friday Brock Purdy is cleared and Kyle Shanahan says he's starting, I am not going into Sunday being like, all right, we're going to see 2023 MVP candidate Brock Purdy, and the 49ers are going to win by 3 touchdowns, and Brock's going to throw for 300 plus and 3 scores, and the 49ers are going to look like, contenders again. Like, I am not confident that that's going to happen. I need to see that happen before I can go in expecting it. Because I would have been confident in Brock looking like that going into the Jacksonville game, and then the Jacksonville game happened. He aggravated the injury, and the 49ers injury issues just continued to persist.
Let me ask you this, RE the 49ers this season, because I'm with you. I don't believe there's a version of this team and this roster that is making any kind of legitimate playoff run. But I do think that it's well within the realm of possibilities that they make the postseason. And the Ricky Pearsall thing is a bigger deal for me because of what we've talked about before and how offensive this team is going to have to be. Like, they're going to have to be, they were good against the Rams, but they have to be like perfect. And I think Ricky Pearsall gives them a larger margin for error on what perfect looks like. That said, let's assume 10-7 makes the playoffs. That sound fair?
Yeah, I think 10-7. I would be very surprised if 10-7 wasn't at least a 6 seed.
The Niners are the 8 seed at 6-4. Green Bay 5-3-1, Chicago 6-3 are the 7-6 seeds. The Niners need to go 4-3 with games left against Arizona, Carolina, Cleveland, and then the bye week. Then they get Tennessee. There's a very real chance, I think, if Ricky Pearsall is healthy, whether Brock Purdy or Mac Jones is playing matters a little bit less to me for the purposes of this exercise. But if 10 wins gets you in the playoffs, they could have that wrapped the week after their bye, which is kind of nuts, considering how doom and gloom most of the season has been.
It does feel like week 17 against the Bears is going to be a big game, though.
Yeah, if they lose any of the next 4, certainly.
Yeah, I'm not 4-0 obviously would be ideal. I am not expecting them to go 4-0, even though on paper it looks like they should.
Yeah, totally.
They just like, for whatever reason, going to Cleveland is never an easy game for them, and who knows what the weather is going to be like. Indianapolis is going to be a really tough game. Obviously, that's not the 4-game window that we're talking about, but like, I'm not feeling super that they should win in Arizona this week. I'm not feeling like super confident. I wouldn't bet my house on it. Carolina has already beaten the Packers on the road. Like that, it wouldn't surprise me if they came and upset the 49ers. So yeah, like on paper, it seems like they should roll over these teams, but I just don't know that they're good enough to be to feel that way about it going into those games, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, the level of variance for the 49ers right now is so freaking high. I don't think you can feel good going into any game, but I certainly feel like those are 4 games where are they favored this weekend in Arizona?
Sure.
If they're not favored in Arizona, they'll certainly be favored against Carolina and Cleveland and Tennessee.
Yeah.
The Niners minus 2.5 at State Farm Stadium.
Okay.
So like they'll be favored in the next 4. And I think they're games they should win. Now, will they? You can't say anything with any confidence, really. But I do think if you have Ricky Pearsall, if you have Brock Purdy, I think it gives you a chance to be that team that scores. You might give up 28 to Arizona, but can you win it 30-28? You might give up 24 to Carolina, but you can win it 28-24. Like that's, I think, kind of what I'm looking at. Because you just try and make the playoffs and you go from there. And I think it's still very much there for them. Now, we're not overlooking the Cardinals. Do not get it twisted.
It's week by week league.
Are doing anything other than locking in to what the Arizona Cardinals are doing. In fact, I'm really excited to read what Kyle Shanahan had to say about Arizona's defense. I bet it's something to the effect of, that's a good defense. They like
well
to
coached. Sound scheme. Physical.
They fly around. Let's see what else.
Those are my favorite press conference questions. It's like, hey, what stands out to you about this defense you're going against? I think if you just took out the nouns that Kyle Shanahan uses, every single answer when he's asked that every single week is the same. Sound scheme, really well coached, a lot of talented guys over there.
I think here's the answer. I think they've got a really good defense. I think they've got a really good team. I've been in their situation before. I remember, I think they tied a record or one that we had, or my first year here as head coach, when we lost 5 games by a field goal or less in a row. I saw that same thing happen to them. I think they're a team that could be sitting here very easily with the exact same record as us, if not better. They've had some tough ones, and when you look at the film, they look like a team that has a winning record with the way their defense plays. They're very well coached. The guys that they've added this offseason on the D-line help them a ton. Like, that could be literally any team. It'd be any team with a losing record.
the stuff about one score games is actually interesting. Like that did deviate a little bit. The Niners beat the Cardinals 16-15. Then they lose by 3 to the Seahawks. They lost to the Titans by 1 at home.
Oof.
They lost at Indy by 4. They lost to the Packers at home by 4. Their only win since September was coming off their bye week, the Monday night game at Dallas, and then they got blown out at Seattle last week, 44-22. Yeah, the Niners should beat them. If Brock is anything close to 100%, the 49ers absolutely should beat them. But also, I've seen the 49ers have some bad performances in Arizona. And so it wouldn't surprise me at all if the 49ers tricked one off, but they should win. They should be favored. They should win. And again, like as much, and people probably listening to this might be frustrated with me being like, well, Brock Purdy raises their ceiling and they could have a better offense with Brock Purdy, and also saying like, I'm not confident that we're going to see that on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of talking out both sides of my mouth, but the ceiling's one thing. Whether or not we see it on Sundays is a different thing. Like I need to see it before I can feel confident in it again, because it feels like it's just hard to feel good about a quarterback with a turf toe injury. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because he could aggravate it on the first snap and turn the ball over twice, and then the game's over.
Right.
But
Pearsall back would be big, man. Like he was what, first or second in the league in yards per game while he was healthy before the knee injury.
Yeah, he's there. He's still. I was trying to look. I'm on the wrong page. I was trying to find. I think he's still their leading wide receiver this season.
Really?
Stand by. Let me confirm that. Oh, never mind. It is.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey's their leading receiver, but then it's Kendrick Bourne 2, Ricky Pearsall 3. Ricky Pearsall has 3 more receiving yards than Juwan Jennings in half the amount of games.
Yeah. Kendrick Bourne's the Niners' leading receiver pass catcher. Christian McCaffrey is their leading pass catcher. 692 yards. Man, he has 90 targets in 10 games. That's insane. But Kendrick Bourne's second, 482 yards. Ricky Pearsall's third, 327 yards. Juwan Jennings, 324 yards. I do want to get out on this. Kyle Shanahan was asked today about playing Brian Robinson Jr. and Christian McCaffrey at the same time. Because Christian, is a really good pass catcher and potentially a good slot receiver. And Shanahan basically shot down the idea. And I'm with Kyle Shanahan on this, because if you have both of them on the field, it takes away the advantage that you have with Christian McCaffrey, I think, because the advantage is, all right, Christian McCaffrey lines up in the backfield on third down, but then you split him out wide, and then all of a sudden you have to adjust. There are no personnel changes. You can't make a sub when you're in formation before the snap, but when you bring 2 running backs in, the defense is allowed to make a substitution, and they can factor in, okay, Christian McCaffrey is probably a pass catcher here.
Yeah.
Right? But you can't do that when Christian McCaffrey lines up out wide. So one of the reasons why Christian McCaffrey has been so successful, he's such a matchup issue. You line him up in the backfield, okay, it looks like a running play. Defenses could gear up for that. You split him out wide, that now a linebacker is matched up against him, or now a safety's matched up against him, and Christian McCaffrey will win that matchup all day long. Whereas if it's a cornerback against Christian McCaffrey in a passing route, then he's probably easier to defend that way, and it probably takes away the advantage that he has.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I get the concept of like, well, Christian McCaffrey's such a good pass catcher, and Brian Robinson is starting to run the ball reasonably well recently. Like, why not play them both at the same time? It's like, well, unless you're lining them up both in the backfield, there is you kind of take the advantage away from Christian McCaffrey by just like telling the defense, like, hey, we're using Christian in the passing game here.
What's funny about stuff like this is, so I imagine, okay, you want the threat of McCaffrey in motion, and you can go like out of the pistol, and you can do a bunch of weird stuff with that. Excuse me, hang on.
Bless you.
Thanks. So you can do a bunch of weird stuff with that, but like probably once or twice a game. And then once you do it once or twice, teams are they've got it on tape.
Yeah, and the other thing too is what Kyle Shanahan said is like, yeah, whoever's not getting the ball, they have to know how to be a fullback, or they have to know how to be a tight end. And it's like, well, then why are you paying Kyle Juszczyk?
Right, sure. Which is kind of what he's getting at. Like, if we're going to do two running backs on the field, we're going to do Kyle Juszczyk, who can do more stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it makes sense. But if, let's say the 49ers are in a playoff game and they're going to bust out the Brian Robinson, Christian McCaffrey package for the first time, and it's Robinson in the backfield, McCaffrey out wide, McCaffrey goes jet sweep, like jet motion, they snap it and like botch the exchange. Turnover, ball going the other way, Niners lose. The talking point is going to be Shanahan got too cute. Just give the ball to McCaffrey. You've given it to him a million times this year. Why are you messing around with that? Like, that would be that would be the reward there.
For sure.
Like that, I get it in theory. And if the 49ers were down a bunch of receivers, it's like, well, why not just put him on the field? And if like, that would be one thing. But man, I think the way they're using Christian McCaffrey is working pretty well right now.
I think there's a time and a place for it. I think Kyle Shanahan could certainly figure out, like, oh, it's a playoff game and it's 4th and 1 in the fourth quarter, and you do something that defenses haven't seen all season, and then you can figure out something like that to where you get an advantage from not having something scouted, and you can utilize those guys in that way. That makes more sense to me than like, all right, we're going to trot out these two running backs for 8 snaps against the Arizona Cardinals in mid-November. Like, you know what I mean? Like that makes less sense to me than like, you know, the Chiefs doing, like in the Super Bowl in 2019, the Chiefs doing those crazy things on like short yardage situations near the goal line and like running those weird plays that like we'd never seen before. Like that to me would make sense for figuring out ways to use Brian Robinson and Christian McCaffrey on the field at the same time. Not like, okay, we have a package where we're using them both. Does that make sense? Like regularly?
Yeah,
anyway.
For sure. Also, Brian Robinson's been like just okay. This isn't fine. This isn't Barry Sanders that we're trying to get on the field, you know.
Right.
He's been fine.
Yeah.
He's been roughly Jordan Mason.
Oh God. Jordan Mason.
I got to tell you, somebody with a lot of fantasy stock in Jordan Mason. Been a disappointing year for our guy.
Yes. Yeah. At some point in the offseason, we should like reflect on all the personnel moves the 49ers made this year and how they impacted the team. I have a lot of thoughts on the Jordan Mason trade that probably are less popular than other people in this podcasting space.
How many 100-yard games does Jordan Mason have this year?
I'm going to say 1.
Yeah, he has 1. It was against who's the worst defense in the league?
Cincy?
Cincinnati, and 116 yards. Averaging a whopping 4.4 yards per carry this season. His last 4 games, 15 carries, 57 yards and a touchdown, 4 carries for 3 yards, 10 for 36, 4 for 25. What a juggernaut.
So the Niners traded Jordan Mason for a 5th round pick, which they used on Marquise Siegel.
Healthy scratch.
Who you and I both think should be starting, or at least we're impressed with in the first half of the season.
Hey, I don't want to get greedy. I think he should be in uniform. Maybe I'm insane.
Sure. I don't think you're wrong there. But they trade Jordan Mason for a 5th round pick. Then they trade a 6th round pick for Brian Robinson. Would you say Brian Robinson is better than Jordan Mason?
Sure. Yeah.
But it's mostly a wash, right?
Yes. Brian Robinson is probably a better receiver, so let's give him the edge.
Okay, so the trade is Brian Robinson and a 5th-round pick for Jordan Mason and a 6th-round pick. Or Brian Robinson and Marquise Siegel in exchange for Jordan Mason and a 6th-round pick. I think I do that trade every time.
Yeah, I think so too. I was all,
Right?
I don't know. Yeah. The all of the things that have gone wrong with the 49ers this year, the Jordan Mason getting out the door is not high on the list for me.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
That's all I
It's
got.
an unpopular opinion. I might hear from somebody else with a prominent media member who also has a Niners podcast about this, but it's fine.
Unrelated. Check out 49ers plus minus.
Shout out to TK and Barrows.
We got to get Tim on the pod.
We do. I'm sure he'd love to.
Hey, Tim, you want to, all the stuff you argue with people about on Twitter, you want to do it on our podcast?
with us?
Does that sound like fun?
Tim, why are the 49ers injuries your fault?
Tim, how many people should the 49ers fire, and why is it everyone?
That's all we got. I am traveling this week, going on a not to brag. I get to watch the Sacramento Kings play basketball all over the country for the next 10 days. So,
oh my.
But there will be I will be available to pod Sunday, maybe Friday afternoon. We can talk offline. Not sure if I'll be able to pod again this week, but we can
I'll
figure
have
something
content
out.
up for you.
Kyle will make sure that there's content for us. And I will be back on Sunday, barring anything catastrophic, live from San Antonio, just a renowned podcasting locale.
Hey, while we're there, see if you can get the Riverwalk to sponsor the pod.
Just the entire Riverwalk, just the whole downtown.
By the Riverwalk.
Okay.
Hey, if you've never listened, and if you've never listened to a Kyle solo pod when Chris isn't here, it's just me setting up Chris to answer a question and then 38 minutes of silence.
Maybe you can get Nick on to clown me for something I can't respond to.
Oh, nice. Let's see what Nick's doing tomorrow.
As Nick's been wont to do when he comes on the podcast in my stead. Anyway, we will have content later in the week. We'll absolutely have a live show after the 49ers and Cardinals game on Sunday, no matter where in the country I am. And we will talk to you guys later. Subscribe, rate, and review. Check out Lamb Chops. Check out Cooperage Brewing in Santa Rosa. Go get the Candlestick Chronicles Hazy IPA. I've
got some reporting to do. I did some hard scrabble reporting.
Yeah.
On what's happening at Cooperage Brewing right now.
Yeah, what you got?
I just received word that there is a fresh batch of Candy Cron available now, ready to go in cans, ready for purchase at coopeраgebrewing.com or at either of their fine Santa Rosa establishments. Also, their Walk This Way rice lager is back, and that is a delightful brewski. All
of their beverages are just incredible. Yeah. Really, they don't make anything bad. So yeah, even if you're not an IPA or a hazy person, their lagers are good, their stouts are good, their sours are good, their pilsner's good, lagers are good, everything. It's all good. Yeah. So go to Cooperage, go to both their locations, check them out online. CooperageBrewing.com, Lamb Chops, Prize Picks, shout out, subscribe. Talk to you guys later.